So good afternoon. Yeah, it's really afternoon. It's like after 3 o'clock. That's okay. Um, so we're headed to the beach, as I told you. And there's about 40 miles until we get to the actual Dalton Highway. This is now the Dalton Highway. I don't know if you were able to see that sign. It said 50 miles an hour, and for the next 416 miles. And the sign before that said, keep your lights on for the next 416 miles. So I think there's a long stretch of this going ahead of us, right? Well, there's an old gravel pit up here, so I thought I might check that out and maybe hang around here tonight. Wow. For being a gravel pit, I didn't expect this. How about this for a view, huh? Looking down on the, not only the highway, but the pipeline as well. Got a nice view for miles and miles and miles and miles and miles. So what we're looking out here is the it's called the Yukon Flats. It's a big, it's a large basin that regularly gets flooded and inundated by Yukon River and all the other little streamlets that are out there, which provides, of course, a lot of the water and the nutrients for all the plant life that's out there. The sun then heats everything up and just makes everything explode, which then, well, explode as far as nutrients go, which then makes it a big breeding and food area for the migrating birds and everything. So birds come here from northern Siberia, across the Bering Strait, come down this way, and then the Yukon Flats here is part of not only the Central Flyway, but even some birds make their way up here from the Pacific Flyway. The other thing too is that the this area is punctuated by not only the tundra and the flat shrubs and everything, but also punctuated by forest. And on a regular basis, fires get started out here by lightning, and the lightning is actually part of the life of the whole ecosystem out here. 99, almost more than 99% of the fires out here are started by lightning. The lightning burns down the trees, helps the spruce open their cones, which then releases their seeds, which then they can then start the new cycle. And shortly after the fires can't come, the rains come, then you get the new grasses, which then provide food for the little animals, which then provide food for the little bit larger animals like the martens, and then so on and so forth. And after the first year or so, then bigger shrubs come, and then about 5 years later you get the blueberries, and then trees start coming in after that. And then you get the cycle of forests again up to 150 to 400 years, and then it all starts all over when they catch fire. So Yeah, I'm gonna stay up here tonight. I didn't know much about what this is gonna look like, but this is actually a pretty gravel pit. And there are a few mosquitoes, but I guess not as bad as down there. Okay, nighty night. See you in the morning. Well, good morning. The view is a little bit different this morning, huh? I think I saw yesterday on the weather forecast there's about a 60% chance of rain today. And you can see the clouds that come in. Don't have any cell signal out this way, of course, so it's just relying on yesterday's forecast. So let's see what today brings, if we get a muddy mess or if we dodge the rain. Had a little activity going on here this morning in the gravel pit, so I guess it's time to move on so we don't get in their way. Oh, one other thing I wanted to tell you about. I had a little visitor in the evening yesterday. I was sitting there, I felt the ambulance rocking a little bit, so I figured, is that an earthquake? I looked out, had a little friend visit. I'll show you the clip here. I got him just as he was leaving, so guess he was just leaning up here against the, see what he was smelling. But anyway, then he went off that way somewhere. Never saw him again. So let's get a move on and see what today brings us. Guess what? You want to see where we are? It's actually kind of interesting. So yeah, the official Arctic Circle, 6633 latitude. And what do we got over here? Before the light goes out, at the heart of darkness, spring and summer. So I'm in this little thing here, and it's talking about fall, winter, spring, and summer, and how the land changes, the landscape, the light, the animals. And I was start reading it and saying, hey, it's not saying anything about the mosquitoes, but yeah, I got around to, when it got around to spring, it said that billions of mosquitoes hatch. And yes, they do. I mean, they're all around. And yeah. But anyway, it is actually quite amazing, you know, how up here in the Arctic Circle is where you get to the point where it's just no light, you know, in winter. This is the place where the sun just doesn't rise. Gotta get out of here. Where the sun doesn't rise. And then, of course, this is the place in the summer where the sun never sets. So it's really interesting. And how there's just like 8 short weeks during the year where the land and the animals have the full glory of light and warmth and heat and all that before it all starts turning back to getting cold again, which can be down to -80 in the winter. And now we got to get out of here. The these mosquitoes, man. Okay, this has been the worst part of the worst mosquitoes of the whole trip. Sheesh. Run! Get out of here. Oh, ow. Get. I got one inside, I think. Oh, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. I, 'cause, you know, 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 'cause I had a couple come in, and it's been a combination of mosquitoes and no-see-ums, but I think I got them all. Oh, man. Oh. So that's the Arctic Circle. There's actually a campground here. It's a BLM campground. I think it's $10 a night, $5 if you got the America the Beautiful Pass. But it certainly would be a challenging place to be camping out, you know, and all these here mosquitoes. I might have to find another gravel pit tonight, huh?
Onto Alaska 11 North.
So this part of the road is called Gobbler's Knob, and you can actually see two mountain ranges up ahead here. The one in the foreground, the small one, is called Jack White Range, which reaches only to about 2,700, 2,900, something like that. And then behind that is the Brooks Range, which I think we're going over today. And those reach up into the 8,000 to 9,000 foot height. Also, what's interesting, well, significant, I guess you could say, is that over at the edge of the Jack White Range, I don't know if we're going to see it. Maybe we will. The Jack White Range is only 16 miles long, but at the northern end of it, there's pump station number 5, which is designed not to, I think we can see it, which is designed not to pump the oil over the mountain, but it's actually, there it is up there. It's actually designed to slow it down coming down the Brooks Range, to decrease the pressure in the pipe, and so that it doesn't all just come down willy-nilly as it's coming down. So on this south side of the Brooks Range is about the extent of the boreal forest, and you can see that it's starting to thin out quite a bit as we are getting sort of close to the pass. And then on the northern side of the pass, and I'll show that to you when we get up there. The northern side of the pass then is the becoming of the permafrost. And in fact, on the south side, as we get closer, there'll be they indicate that there's patchy places of permafrost on this side, but it's going to be mostly on the north side that we get it. And also, the interesting thing about the north side is that it really is a desert. The north side of the pass, which is also known as the North Slope of Alaska, gets only 5 inches of precipitation each year. And that's less than Tucson, Arizona. So think about that, huh? Cold and dry as opposed to hot and dry. So we just crossed over the Dietrich River, and the Dietrich River has the distinction of being the halfway point on the Dalton Highway. So I think there's about 200 more miles to go up to Prudhoe Bay. That'll be tomorrow. In the meantime, we've got to get up and over at Atigun Pass. So we're getting towards the top of Atigun Pass, which, by the way, is the highest elevation on the Dalton Highway, as well as the highest elevation that an official highway in Alaska reaches, 4,800 feet. But there was a sign back there that said avalanche area, do not stop within for the next 5 miles. And I can see what it means. I hope that this guardrail was destroyed by rocks falling and not cars or trucks. But you can see up here a lot of loose rocks and stuff. So okay, I won't be stopping. Especially with the clouds and the rain starting to come. So I'm thinking I might pull off here. Let's take a look and see. It's a little bit close to the road, but it's next to the river. So it's either here tonight, or there is about another 30 minutes north, there's actually a official campground, and it's free. But I'm thinking up here it might be a little bit breezier, because that one's near a lake. And then number two, that one might have a bunch of people in it, and so I'll go there for a knot. So even so even though this one's right near the road and it is breezy, well, the mosquitoes are out in force. I guess it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other, right? Huh. I'm gonna have to think about this one for a second. But anyway, I believe this is the Atigun River, so kind of a nice spot. So I'll let you, dang, these things are big too. I'll let you know. I'll let you know in a few minutes what I decide. But I gotta get back in. Think about this. Okay, I decided to stay here after all. I angled into the wind so that hopefully, if I do have to get out, the mosquitoes will be over here on this side where they won't bug me. But it's got a nice enough view, you know, to be able to go to sleep by and wake up by. I won't be able to open the windows to hear the nice sound of the water, but anyway, this will be the place for tonight. And I got about 163 miles to go to get to Prudhoe Bay tomorrow. And so I guess I better get up early so that I don't have to get there at 7:22 at night. So that's it for tonight on the north side of Atigun Pass. See you in the morning. Good morning. Yeah, it's good morning still. And the good news is it rained, which means that the ambulance there got a nice bath overnight, and which also means there's no mosquitoes. And of course, the bad news is it rained, and now the road's going to be a muddy, mucky mess in a lot of places, and the ambulance is going to get all sprayed with a nice thin film of sticky mud. Oh well. But take a look at these clouds here. It's kind of enveloping the mountain there. Coming down right there. And then the low clouds over here. We're going to be going through that. And the river is actually a little bit higher this morning than it was yesterday, not too much. So let's get a move on. 163 miles to go. And, oh, what's that? Oh, it's a cross. Guess somebody didn't make it here. Guess let's pray for them and their family, right? So anyway, like I said, 163 miles to go. I'm going to guess, I don't know if it's going to be raining. There aren't going to be any stops, so maybe 4 hours. If it stops raining and there's some stops, 5 or 6 hours. But wait, you say, why could it take 4 or 5 hours to only go 163 miles? Well, first off, the maximum speed along this road is 50, but in this section, the maximum you really would want to go is about 40, and really, in some sections, you're only going about 30 or 35. So that is why it takes so long to go just 163 miles. And here's another reason why it takes at least 5 hours to go 163 miles. Yep, at a dead stop. There's construction going on. From what I understand, it's like it's a 10-mile section. So we're waiting for the next pilot car, which could be maybe in a half hour or so, or maybe it could be in 15 minutes. But from the looks of it, since there's nothing, well, you can't see. So there's nothing you can't see on the hillside there, but once you see them up there on the crest of that hill, it's probably another 5 minutes or so before they get here anyway. So, guess I'll have some brunch. It's 11:39. And off we go. Hey, look at that. All right, well, we're out of the escort service. That was 16 miles at about 15 miles an hour. So it took a little while, huh? And now, I think there's about 105 miles to go. So a nice little drive. 3 more hours, maybe? I'm looking up ahead, and I don't know if it's a mirage or if I see something like a paved road. What do you know? About 75 miles to go. There's a paved road. So now let's see how this paved road is compared to the dirt road, which is usually smoother. As you can see, we're getting into some of the industrial stuff here at Prudhoe Bay, also known as Dead Horse. There's a story behind that. I'll tell you later. But here in Prudhoe Bay, there's not really any camping. There are spots where you can go off the side there of the road. There's some gravel roads where you can go and park alongside the Sag River there on the gravel. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to, and there's no hotels up here, so I'll show you where I'm, well, I'm not going to show you. I'm going to stay somewhere, but I'm going to show you the next time. But until then, let's get up to the end here. So I guess they keep this road bumpy like this keep us mere tourists out. This is probably worse than even some of the desert roads I've been on. This is like a 7-mile-an-hour road, even though the speed limit is 35. Yeah, right.
Right on the Sag River Road.
But I'm almost where I need to be. We're right here along the Sag River. No, I didn't stop, did I? Oh, the speed limit's down to 25 now.
Mile. Your destination will be on the right.
And so here's where I'm going to call home for 2 nights. It's called Brooks Camp. Brooks Camp, I'll tell you a little bit more about that
On the right.
later on, but right now I'm going to find out where I go. I think it's right over here. And just like I told you this morning, 163 miles would be about 6 hours. Guess what? It's been exactly 6 hours. So, and now let's find a place where I can get out. It's not a puddle. There's a big spot right here. Okay, so we're at our place. But you're gonna have to see it later. What did you say? Go in? I can't go in.
To Alaska, I go north, the rush is on. I go north.